Alright. Hey everyone, welcome back. We are finishing up our whole... Wow, words again. Words are very dangerous.
Come on, we're finishing it.
Alright, yep. So, we have been doing these Kamigawa Neon Dynasty set reviews, and we went through white, we went through the sagas, white, blue, and black, red. Finally, time for red.
By the way, I'm FoeCus.
Oh yeah,
Apparently
sorry.
you don't need to introduce me. Okay.
Sorry, bro. Yeah, so this is FoeCus. He's a super awesome dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. You're here because I like you, man. Yeah, I know
So
it's surprising. I like you.
So I have nothing to contribute. It's just because you like me.
Okay. Also, you're pretty awesome, and you have very good views on a lot of things, which includes these cards.
Thanks.
Also, you're good at video games, and you've shown it in your stream.
Thank you.
Also, you're
More
beautiful.
compliments. Yep, that's not enough compliments. Keep going.
All right. So you want to just get to it?
Let's do it.
All right. So, with these quick notes, if we don't talk about... We usually focus on limited. I have some knowledge of constructed and alchemy. I'm not a pro player or anything, but we are focusing mostly on limited. If we don't bring up constructed, that's because it's not playable in constructed. All right? With that, Aki Emberkeeper. 2 mana, 2/1. Whenever a non-token modified creature you control dies, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. 2 mana, 2/1.
That's all good.
Yeah, exactly. It's good enough as a bear right off the bat, and then it could have more value. And
yeah, I mean for limited.
Yeah,
I mean I guess we already cleared that up. But yeah.
In case you're wondering, if the modified decks get off the ground, the last thing we need is more death triggers.
Really? Why?
Because remember how all those dragons are unplayable because of their death triggers?
Oh yeah. This is just more vulnerable unless you're sacrificing them yourself. You know?
Yeah, and if you're sacrificing the creature, why are you modifying it?
True.
That's where the issue comes in.
That is cool though. This does like make your modified, because the problem with modified creatures being everywhere is that it's 2-for-1s a lot of the time, except for the equipments, obviously. Mm-hmm. But this makes it so that your 2-for-1s are less bad.
So the problem is the way those 2-for-1s occur a lot of the time is as you go to equip it or as you go to enchant it, it gets killed, so it never actually gets modified before it gets blown
Yeah,
up.
true. It doesn't stop that half of it, but
yeah.
the other half.
I feel like this card is still good and limited just because you get a +1/+1 counter on something, and now it's treated token. And it also counts itself.
Yeah.
So it's a 2/1 that if you turn into a 3/2 is also a 1/1 on the back end. It's another body. Like, the whole issue is if you have, like, a bunch of equipment, you don't have creatures to put them on. This is literally making the new creature for you.
Yeah.
So, amazing and limited. Don't feel bad if you pick 4, because you just know what deck you're in.
What's up, Lambo?
How's it going, man? Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Alright. Aki Ronin. 2 mana, 1/3. Whenever a samurai warrior you control attacks alone, you may discard a card, and if you do, draw a card.
Nice.
This is the most defensive statted samurai I think there is.
Goblin Samurai 1/3. You don't really see 1/3 goblins either, right? Yeah.
I think this is the most defensive statted goblin we've seen as well. There's a lot of goblins.
I think, isn't there like some dragon feeder goblin that's like a 1/4 or something? I feel like there's a 1/4 goblin that does something.
I think it's 3 mana though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I know what you're Tooth Collector or something like that. Yeah. The one that like makes giants cheaper.
Anyways, I think this card's good and limited.
Yeah. So
really good.
One of the powerful things about this is even if the ability ends up like looting is pretty nice. We've figured out from blood tokens in the last limited set that was more valuable than we expected. And this is a creature that will attack alone and then attack alone the next turn, and because it survived the attack. It's not dealing much damage.
Oh, I just realized it has to attack alone to get the trigger. Still pretty good though.
Yeah, but you could probably get that trigger twice because if you're going first, you play this 2 mana 1/3. They play a 2/2, attack to the 2/2. You're not gonna die.
Yeah, true.
And you also scare them with a combat trick, so it might even keep surviving.
Yeah.
And then if you have another samurai that you're willing to sacrifice, it's looting through all of your lands for the deck. So I think again, if you're in the samurai deck, you're happy to pick this card. It's not the best samurai. I think that 2/1 in white is the better samurai for common, but both really good cards for the deck. Aki War Paint. 1 red for enchantment aura, enchant artifact or creature. As long as the permanent is a creature, it has unholy strength. +2/+1. Unholy
Not good.
Unholy strength was good because it was in it was really old, and back then there was certain things you could do if you're hyper aggressive and don't care that you're getting 2 for 1 in a little bit, because you won with that extra 2 damage.
Not so good. I mean, it modifies.
Yeah, it modifies. That
Maybe it'll end up being good. Maybe like making one giant samurai and this is part of it. I don't know.
I feel like you do need something like First Strike or something to make this really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just
maybe buffing up one big creature isn't as bad as we think it is in this format, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem good.
Yeah. Basically, it's 1 in your deck at most.
Mm-hmm.
Ambitious Assault. 3 mana instant. Creatures you control get +2/+0 till end of turn, and if you control a modified creature, draw a card. So note, this is not if you control a modified creature when you cast it. So they can kill it in response, but you still get the rest of the abilities.
It's alright. It's a combat trick. I don't know. Could get you a card. I wouldn't really pick it ever, though. I don't know.
I feel like this is usually used to help close out the game.
Yeah, but
its modified trigger is to be a cycle.
Yeah, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. I think you can play you cannot play this card unless you could guarantee it's getting played with a modified creature in play.
Yeah.
Or it's winning you the game.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like a medium pick. You really have to know what the format's going to be like to know if this is going to be good or not. And just medium, it's okay.
Yeah. You also need to know your archetype before you pick it.
Yeah, medium low.
Mm-hmm.
Could be good for like ninjas because there's like they're blocking, you know.
The one that gets blocked as well as dealing more damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
could be good.
I find that these sort of tricks, if the format calls for it, you could get 1, maybe 2 of these. I think because of the draw card, you could probably get 2 Ambitious Assaults in your deck if you're in the right deck without feeling bad at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the way, I just want to note, the flavor text, I had to read it to realize the theme in the art.
In the Klingor and Chaos of the Aki attack, few even notice the frogs on their heads. Yeah, I didn't notice that all either. Yeah. That's funny.
I think it's really well designed. Just
why do they have... Is it like magic? Is that what it is?
I'm assuming their spirit, their kami that are pushing them forward. Atsushi, the Blazing Sky. 4 mana 4/4 Flying Trampler. When it dies, you can either exile the top 2 cards of your library, Reckless Impulse style, or you can create 3 treasure tokens. So, if you can manage to get this to die, it is really good.
It's a 4 mana 4/4 Flying Trampler. That's insane.
Yeah. Alright, sorry. So, flat out mythics, specifically mythics that are based on bodies, amazing for limited. This is a bomb. For constructed, I have stated that the fact that all these have on-death triggers really hurts them. And this is the cheapest one, so it has that value. Plus, it's a dragon. But so the main thing is, 4 mana 4/4 is actually competing with a lot of other cards. There's like 2 different dragons that are 4 mana 4/4 flyers in standard right now that are playable.
Oh, really?
One of them's very deck restrictive, so we're not going to compare it to that. But there's Manaform Hellkite, which likes multicolored decks. And if you go into Alchemy, it just cannot compete with Townraiser Tyrant. This 4 mana 4/4, and it basically blows up a land or deals more damage to them as time goes by. If you're in Alchemy, you play 4 of this card if you can, and that's good enough as long as you're not hyper aggro.
Yeah.
So this cannot compete with Townraiser Tyrant, so that limits it to standard only. If the exile trigger if death trigger wasn't the issue, this would be a very good card. Create 3 treasure tokens, like as I said about the 5-color deck. That's 3 of your colors fixed right there.
True.
And otherwise, you just use it as a value engine. This could be just the top end of an aggro deck. Aggro decks can actually get to 4 a lot easier than 5. So this is better than AO and that sort of style. The thing is, we have a white aggro deck and not a red aggro deck right now. But this is a really good card if you can get the triggers.
This could be a top end of the aggro deck. You don't have to worry about the triggers in an aggro.
Oh yeah, because if they're killing this, that means they're not wiping your board. They're not dealing with the threats that are already there.
Yeah.
Huh. When you put it like that, if there is a mono red aggro deck, this helps make it.
Yeah. Just like your top end is this, yeah.
Yep. Dragon is notable, Spirit is not, I don't think. But yeah. In case you're wondering, Dragon Fire is a spell. This turns it into a 4 damage spell. So, yeah, I'll just show you real fast. Dragon's Fire. So, it's a 2 mana, 3 damage spell, but if you have a dragon in play or in your hand, instead deals damage equal to its power. So, it's a 2 mana, 4 damage spell, and that's a significant jump.
Yes.
So, good card. If there is that aggro deck, like, I think this one might see play just because it's the red dragon and it's the cheap dragon. Bronze Plate Boar. 3 mana, 3/2 artifact creature equipment Boar. Trample. An equipped creature gets its stats, including trample. Reconfigures for 5.
This is what you want for the modified.
Yeah.
Right here.
So, I'm pretty sure the last time they did this was with the bestow mechanic. So, if we go back, there's a mechanic called bestow, which was like this with auras. And so, once you used it, it fell off. And these bestow cards, as you can see, it adds their stats. And these cards were pretty freaking absolutely insane for their limited format, as far as I know. Like, the ability to just be a creature and then also bestow to make an even stronger creature. Always really good cards. And it was the fact that they got their stats as well that made them just absurd. And looky here. Get the stats as well. You're not always going to configure this for 5, but the fact that you can in the late game.
And it's a 3 mana 3/2 trample, which is good and limited. So.
Yeah. And then it makes every card from turn 6 onwards a monster.
Yeah.
So, great for limited. Crackling Emergence. 2 mana, Enchant Land. The Enchant Land is now a 3/3 red spirit with haste. And if Enchant Land would be destroyed, instead sacrifice Crackling Emergence, and that land gains indestructible until end of turn. This does make a modified creature.
Yeah.
My main
That's
issue...
hella good.
My only issue with this is because you have to attack with this, you need to tap that land. It puts you -1 on mana as long as it's alive. That is my one issue.
As long as it's alive? No, it's still land. It says it's still land.
What I'm saying is whenever you attack, you're tapping the mana.
Right.
That's why I mean.
I think it's worth it though.
Yeah.
I think this is good in limited, mid-range or aggro, not control. I think it's good. I would play it.
It has to be aggro. I think treat it as like a 3 mana 3/3 haste, or just like treat it as more expensive than 2 mana.
You probably want 1 or 2 of these. If you have like a really low mana cost deck, then you could play 2. But yeah, like you said, playing 1 of these just restricts you because you need it for mana.
Yeah. I guess you have if you have a low curve, that doesn't matter too much.
Mm-hmm.
But how low can your curve... And, like, you could still tap the land for mana, it's just you kind of lost the creature for that turn.
Yep.
So it's that conflict that you have to deal with. If you can deal with it, 2 mana 3/3. That's amazing stats. Dragon Spark Reactor. 2 mana artifact. Whenever it or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, just enters the battlefield. Put a charge counter on Dragon Spark Reactor. You could then tap 4 later, sacrifice it, and it deals damage equal to the number of charge counters on it to target player and up to 1 target creature. So it deals damage to both the player and the creature.
It's pretty dope. I think you could play a couple of these in limited, honestly. Like, you might only get it... Well, it depends on how much artifacts you're grabbing.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe just 1 in limited.
How many artifacts, how many charge counters do you need when you sacrifice it for you think it to be good?
I think 3 is average. 3 is like mid. Even 1, it could be good though. Even just like pinging something sometimes. Sometimes you just need that. But to be good, 4 or up.
Got it.
Like to be like, yeah, like if this is doing 4 more damage, that's insane.
And to be clear, if there's enough artifacts in the format for this to be sacrificed at a minimum of 5 and then like even higher, that I think becomes standard playable. And this just says artifacts entering the battlefield. So things that generate blood tokens, things that generate treasure tokens.
Dude, I could see this being standard playable.
Like Atsushi, the dragon we just showed, if that manages
3.
to die, 3 right
ding,
there.
ding, ding.
And that also means like you're just holding up if they try to target the artifact. You're holding at 3 of the mana to trigger it if you need to on the get-go.
True.
Like, I think this card, like, it definitely needs a shell, and I'm not sure how you build that shell.
I feel like there's enough artifacts.
But as you said, there's enough artifacts. It's just... At that point, is it good enough? Is the tempo loss for playing this on 2 not costly enough to lose you the game there? And, like, if you can play it as a lava axe that also kills a minion, like...
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So, yeah, I have hopes for Dragon Spark Reactor, but it's definitely much more speculative than other cards I've said are amazing for
I feel like this is the first deck I would build would be something like this.
Yeah, exactly. This creates a new archetype. We just need to figure out. We found one of the 36 cards.
Well, like you said, the treasure token, blood tokens. You just put it in something like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any of the. It's mostly a black deck. Well, I guess it's black red. Huh? Could you just fit this in the black red deck? Huh. Interesting. That's something to consider. I haven't thought of that yet. That's a possibility. I like it. Experimental Synthesizer. 1 mana artifact. When it enters or leaves the battlefield, exile the top card of your library. Until I have turn, you may play that card. If you don't have a sack outlet for the second trigger, you can always just pay 3, sacrifice it, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance, which you can only do as a sorcery. So when you play it the first... this is not a card you play on turn 1, because you need to play it to get the extra card. This is kind of a value card, but I think it's a good value card.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine how you would play this in limited. Maybe on turn 2, if you like want to see if you can get a land and you don't really have lands. I don't know.
I'm thinking on turn 4, if you just play it, if you have like a 3-drop or a 2-drop that you're going to play because you have that much of your curve, you play this first. If it's a land, congratulations, you play it, get a 3-drop. Yeah. If you don't, you're probably going to hit another 1 or 2-drop.
It's definitely good for top deck wars mode, you know. Yeah, I'd say you play a couple. You can play a couple of these.
Yeah.
But you only get a 2/2. It's a card engine, but it's like a slow card engine. I don't know.
Not that good. So as we get further in the set, I think one of the cards that allows this to see play, you need to have ways to sacrifice this artifact without paying 3 mana for it.
Oh, okay.
Because if you can do that, that's an additional card.
True.
That makes this a reckless impulse on kind of on command. The first, you do have to do it this turn, but it's the difference between 2 mana, 1 mana is huge.
Yeah.
So,
goes to go with Dragon Spark Reactor.
That's what I was just about to say. That this is the Dragon Spark Reactor is 4 of the 36. Now we have 8 of the 36. We're figuring out this artifact deck. All right. Explosive Entry. 2 mana sorcery. Destroy up to 1 target artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter onto up to 1 target creature.
I don't know. I don't know if there's enough artifacts.
Yeah, that's the question, because there's artifact creatures, which if this hits an artifact creature, it's a kill spell and a pump spell in one.
I think you could just play 1 in your deck, honestly, even on 1, and it could be okay, but I don't know what you're picking this over, you know? I feel like most things are above this. Maybe.
I think that's a good analysis, because it's if you're facing the white-green deck, this becomes 2 mana, put +1/+1 counter target creature, because they have so many enchantments, not artifacts.
Oh, I didn't even realize you don't need an artifact to target in order to use it. Okay. Yeah.
Which means, if you want to play more than 1, you need to have a deck that really loves modified, so you can get that +1/+1 counter to matter.
Yeah.
But, if you're playing against the deck that loves artifacts, you have a kill spell.
Yeah. I guess you could see it like that. It's, good for your modified deck, and it has a bonus destroy artifact. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's good for the modified deck. It just does enough that you're not sad that you drew it in the deck that doesn't have a target.
Yeah.
Definitely depends on how many artifacts are in the format, how many of these artifact equipment creatures exist. If you're playing best of 3, so you have a sideboard, 100% perfect for your sideboard.
Yes.
If you could slot in 2 of these, it's get GG for your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Explosive Singularity. 10 mana sorcery. As additional cost to cast a spell, it basically has Convoke. You may tap any number of attack creatures you control to make it cost 1 less for each, and it deals 10 damage to any target.
Oh, this card.
Yeah, I love the style. This is basically the Spirit Bomb, and I love the flavor of that. My problem, 10 mana for just 10 damage, mythic sorcery speed. So, sorry, I'm thinking of Constructed. It's only 10 damage is actually... I think that's actually not enough to make this card good enough in Constructed.
I could see a deck built around it. If you have a ton of creatures, you just need 2 of them. Maybe some spells that copy your spells. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
Especially since you can get it if you have just a ton of creatures.
I didn't even think about that. Galvanic Iteration. Yeah, there's amazing duplicates. I'll show you right here. So one of the cards that is actually... it lost its... This used to be used with All Run's Epiphany to win the game. So it's a copy spell that also has flashback.
Yeah, see, I think you could build a crazy
I
deck
didn't
with
even
this.
think about that, yeah. So Galvanic Iteration plus Explosive Singularity. It's guaranteed to cost at least 4 mana. The question is, where do you get all the creatures to tap for it?
Yeah, you'd have to build a deck around that. Because there's treasure, blood, but there's tokens, there's no... Yeah, I don't know.
This is going to be another piece of it. Let me get the old variation. Artifacts you control can tap to add mana to cast instant or sorcery spells.
Oh,
So
your treasures just become... Wow.
So Galzeth has been kind of rotated out as the meta evolved, but used to be used as part of a Magma Opus deck.
And I bet you could...
Yeah. Now that with a Galvanic Iteration, I think the Magma Opus deck kind of comes back with this as its new finisher. I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I know it's 10 damage, but that's, if you're hitting their face, that's a 10 mana do nothing. And if you're not doing a do nothing, you're overkilling a creature. Why not just play a 2 mana kill spell? So
I think this card's awesome.
Yeah.
Has a lot of potential. Also, I think if you... I think you could play 2 of these unlimited, honestly, because then if you're not at the end of the draft, because then you could just pick 2 of these, have like a kind of mid-rangey defensive deck, and then just eventually you'll beat them.
The ability to just randomly chuck 10 damage out of nowhere is definitely scary, which is like, oh, I'll take a hit. It's not like it's going to kill me. Actually, that 1 damage does matter.
Yeah, I love this card. This is my favorite kind of card.
Yeah, I definitely see how, like, this is one of the cards that I don't have too much faith in, but if it's like, because I don't have much faith in it, it's going to kill me 3 times, I'm certain, before this format rotates. Even though it's a mythic.
She'll be punished for your lack of faith.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So don't underestimate this card like I do. Flame Discharge. 2 mana instant. Instant with red and X. It deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, but if you control a modified creature, it's X+2.
Oh.
It's a kill spell.
Yeah, you played it unlimited, sure. The +2 doesn't really matter. Like...
It does if you were trying to make the constructed deck, but I think...
No, yeah, for constructed.
I think there's we'll get to it later. I think there is another card similar to this that I think is better for the constructed version of this deck.
Yeah, this is okay. You pick it to kill things if you don't have things to kill things.
Yep. Removal is good, generally. This is horribly costed removal, but it's removal. You'll be happy with it, but you won't love it. Gift of Wrath. 4 mana enchant artifact or creature. As long as it's a creature, it gains +2/+2 on menace. And when it leaves the battlefield, create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with menace. I will warn you, if you target something, it dies before it can reach it. It doesn't actually leave the battlefield. It just goes from incast to graveyard. It never hits the battlefield. So, unfortunately, you can still get 2 for 1 with this.
And with saying that, I still think it's good for limited. Like, I think you could play 1 of these and be good. You can even play 2 of them if you don't have a lot of if you have some modify synergies and like cards that just want to have +2/+2 minutes. I think this card's pretty good.
I would like to note that this card is good in both the modified deck and in the samurai deck. Gain yourself
that one big boy.
That one big boy, exactly. And it has menace, so if they do kill it, you're taking 2 of their themes with them. So it's not even down trading. So yeah, I think 1 maybe. I don't think 2.
I like if you don't have a lot of other things, I think you could play 2.
Right. I think you could. Yeah, definitely. I like
But
that idea.
I would say there's better things. You hopefully have some like galvanize. What's the word? The new equip.
Reconfiguration.
Yeah, you hopefully have some reconfigures or something better. But if you don't, this is good.
Yeah. All right. Goshen of Ancient Wars. 3 mana 2/2 first striker. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, it deals X damage to target player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. 3 mana 2/2 first strike.
Yeah, this is actually good.
Yeah, I think that alone means you could play this in limited and not get too disappointed.
Yeah, it's good by itself.
It's technically
puts a clock on him.
Yeah, it's technically reach.
Yeah.
Which I honestly think that reach might matter. Like, it's just like, oh, it's PvP, it doesn't matter. And then...
Boom.
Exactly, this is how I'm going to die. Goshen just peens me while holding back, and then they just suddenly all tap and explode.
Yeah, I like this card.
Yeah.
Good card.
And I mean, whenever a shrine seems playable, I love it.
Yeah.
This and the black one seem like, so far, the most playable. And I think this one's a bit more playable because of all the 2 health minions floating around.
Yeah.
Alright. Goro, Disciple of Ryusei. 2 mana, 2/2. You can tap... It's a Goblin Samurai. Tap a red, and creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Or tap 5... Well, not or. It's another ability. 5... Create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control attacking modified creature.
Yo, whoa.
2 mana, 2/2, already good enough in limited.
Oh yeah, this is busted and limited. This is gonna be a cool card to have in some constructed deck, I'm sure.
Yeah, the fact... So modified, because it works with +1/+1 counters or equipments, I think this could actually be part of a constructed deck. It's not the card that makes the constructed deck, it's a card that fits in the constructed deck. Like, we're a very aggressive deck, and hey, this 2 mana, this 2-drop is also top end.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm not the person who builds that constructed deck, but I'm happy to see it. Haiku Yamazaki, the General, the other Yamazaki twin. By the way, they actually released the story of the Yamazaki twins over in the Magic news theme. I've been reading up on that. Anyways, it's a 4 mana 3/3 with trample, human samurai. When a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn.
This is good.
Yeah. Here's the thing. How many artifacts are also samurai?
I don't know.
Because if you have some artifacts that are like swinging in, it dies, and then you pull out the other samurai, then you pull, and they just keep looping each other. You have a way to get all the artifact triggers. I think all of these, both the Yamazaki twins are very powerful for limited, because they're value engines for decks that are aggressive.
Yeah, and it's already a 4 mana 3/3 trample, so yep. I would pick this.
I will say it's the weaker of the 2 Yamazaki twins, because it costs 4 mana instead of 3, but that's it.
Dude, and you can use this with that the 2 artifacts that you sacrifice that we looked at.
Oh. Not for constructed, but yeah.
Yeah, not for constructed, but combos randomly.
Yep. Alright. Invoke Calamity. 4 red and 1. Instant. This is the only Calamity that's instant speed. You may cast up to 2 instant and or sorcery spells with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard or hand without paying their mana costs. If the spells would be put in your graveyard this turn, exile them instead, and then you exile Invoke Calamity.
That's cool.
Do note, and this is what a lot of people were talking about, because of the way this cast trigger works, you can use this to cast sorcery spells at instant speed.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. That's crazy. I don't know how that's useful technically, but yeah, cool.
I will say a lot of people have been like, you use this to flash into Wrath of God. I'm like, how are you getting all that white and red mana?
You could do it. I think you could do it with the mana lands. Yeah, dude. Flashing a Wrath God, that'd be insane. Yeah, that's hella good. Or end of turn Wrath of God. End of their turn, yeah.
That's basically the plan. Because if you can do that, that's like one of the most powerful things. Blow up the board on their turn is devastating.
This card's hella good.
I will state, for if you... The one problem I have is specifically for the current mono red deck that exists.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a slot for it. There is... one of the best cards you can cast is Ingenious Inspiration, I believe it's what it's called. I'm just gonna go to...
You almost had it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure it's standard to type in Inspiration, and we'll get a...
INGEN. Okay.
There it is, Igneous Inspiration.
Oh, I didn't know either.
So...
Oh, it was Igneous, not Ingenious.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So it's a learn card, and it deals 3 damage to anything. So if you get like 2 Igneous Inspirations, that's pretty darn powerful. And like that's a bunch of value and a bunch of damage there. The main problem with wanting to do this is you're exiling those cards, which means they're down in the graveyard. And that deck already... I'm wondering if this is better or worse than Bloodthirsty Adversary. Because it already plays this card, which does a similar thing of exiling a card in your graveyard that costs 3 or less and recasting it. This one, it's able to be played as a 2/2 haste. It's able to, very late game, do the same effect. Or you can just pay 5 mana, get one of the Igneous Inspirations, have a 3/3 haste to get more tempo. And I think that deck prefers the extra tempo over the extra value. So...
Yeah, this isn't for that deck, I don't think.
Yeah. That's basically the theme. For the deck that exists right now, Bloodthirsty Adversary just seems better than Invoke Calamity. You have to find a new deck for Invoke.
Yep.
So, with that...
And Invoke actually is not good in Limited, I don't think.
Yeah, because you...
Unless you have a lot of instant sorceries, but then it's not, like, explosive or anything.
Life Alert 666, from here on, we're trying to finish the entire set before we end. So...
Wait, so what did we already do, though? We already did...
Sagas, white, blue, black. We now still have red. After this, we'll have green, multicolored, artifacts, and lands. So, we still have time. Feel free to ask any questions. If you miss a card and you want us to re-review it, I'd be good. Iron Hoof Boar. 6 mana, artifact creature Boar. It's a 5/4 with trample and haste. Or you could channel it for 2 and give target creature +3/+1 and trample until end of turn.
It's a combat trick or a this is a good card.
Yeah.
It's a really good card. Yeah, this is... You definitely pick this in Limited. You could have, like, 3 of these in Limited.
Yeah. I feel like this is, like... That combat trick is very, like... It's not good in most situations, but in the situations that... Like, the decks that want that kind of combat trick, it's kind of decks that love this as their top-end finisher.
And haste. Yeah, this card's dope. Okay, but I find it weird that it, like, it's an artifact creature with channel. Because channel feels like it should be... Like, it feels like, to me, channel should be restricted to enchantment creatures, and then reconfigure should be restricted to artifact creatures, obviously. So when I saw the channel, I just, before reading it, thought it was going to be a reconfigure. Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
I will state that one of the things they could have done better is make channel specific to a certain archetype. Because channel's just everywhere in this set. You'll see enchantment creatures will channel. You'll see just regular enchantments with channel. You'll see cards that are just creatures with channel. It's just everywhere in the set. There's no...
I mean, channel is pretty good. It's like a cool, like, kind of evergreen ability.
Yeah, exactly. Channel is just this ability that does something. Channel is you discard the card and it has some effect. So in this case...
It's the ability right there.
The effect is target creature gets +3/+1 and trample. In a white one, it's you search your library for a plains and gain 2 life. There's one that, like, it's a exile enchantment that the channel is you flicker a card instead of just exiling it. It's just you discard the card and you get a different effect. Worth noting, channel can be done at instant speed. So even though this is an artifact creature that can't really be played. So, like, for example, if you're in a counterspell war, channel is an ability, not a spell. So you can just channel out and avoid any counterspells. And the fact that it's instant speed means it gives additional value to usually slower, more sluggish cards. But yeah, it's literally channel is just describing the symmetry of all these abilities.
Essentially, you either play it as the creature or they have a spell you can play it as.
Yeah.
Let me just do this for you.
Thank you. Kami of Industry.
Interesting.
5 mana, 3/6 spirit. When it enters the battlefield, return target artifact card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step.
Nice. Okay, so there's a lot of artifact synergy cards in Right, you might be able to do something with this in Limited.
Not to mention, I'd like to note, you sacrifice it, you don't exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Multiple Kami of Industries can keep hitting the same creature.
Or artifact, you mean.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think you can pick this, because 3/6 is a good body for this format, so... I'd pick it, especially if you have artifacts. There's probably better things to pick, but I wouldn't be too upset, even if you didn't have any targets for this.
I will say that the only thing that keeps me from saying this is an amazing card is it doesn't have reach. If it had reach, then it'd be a perfect blocker while establishing threat along the way. Alright.
Oh, you want me? Yeah, I can do it.
Alright. You said you were going to.
Okay. I didn't mean forever, but...
Oh, okay. 2 mana... Kami's Flare. 2 mana instant. When it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, then it also deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller if you control a modified creature.
This is a good card.
This,
for Limited.
If there's a modified... There might be an aggressive modified deck. If that's the case, this fits in Constructed. 3 damage is enough to be a kill spell.
Yeah, 2 mana, 3 damage.
And then 2 more damage to their face. When you're in those aggressive fights, that 2 damage matters.
Yeah. This is a good card. Pick it in Limited. You don't even need to worry about the modify bonus. That's just bonus.
That's actually the theme. This card is just playable even without... The modify means nothing in Limited and everything for Constructed. Which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. The flames are a gift from my companion.
Kindled Fury. 1 mana instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn.
Okay, this is pretty good combat trick.
1 mana combat tricks are strong. This is like your attack with this Samurai alone. They double block, and you now kill both of them.
Yeah, this is hella good. You want to play... You can play a couple of these if it's like your only buff spell.
Yeah. If your deck is... I think this set has enough, like, the Samurai love this kind of effect, because they're attacking in expecting to get suicided, and then you don't suicide them. You slaughter them instead.
Or if you happen to have some ninjas, if you're blue-red or blue-black. I mean, I guess ninjas are kind of everywhere, but yeah.
And, like, it only costing 1 mana is huge, because it doesn't interfere with the rest of your turn. Yeah, this is a really good card.
Yeah. Take 1 or 2 for your limited deck, why not?
I'd say 2. I'm actually on the top end there. Lizard Blades. 2 mana, 1/1 double strike. It's an equipment lizard. It's another artifact equipment. Reconfigures for only 2 and gives the equipped creature double strike. Flat out, this is Flame Shrieker, which is already a good card, except it even costs 1 less than Flame Shrieker.
Yeah, it is more vulnerable though, but...
Fair enough.
Yeah, I like Lizard Blades. You pick it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a bomb.
You think it's a bomb? I guess it kind of gives all your creatures double strike.
Yeah. It turns any creature into a monster, and it's a 2. And I think playing this on 2 is fine.
True. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess just looking at a 1/1...
It's okay.
And thinking bomb just doesn't register to me.
Yeah.
But
No, it makes sense. But I really think as long as it doesn't die, the fact that you can reconfigure it on other cards means it's like it turns mid-range threats into late-game threats.
True.
It's weird. It's like Poet's Quill was a bomb in Strixhaven, but didn't look like one because it was just an equipment like this.
Oh, okay.
March of Reckless Joy. This is another March, so a red and X. You may exile any number of red cards, reducing its cost by 2 for each. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may play up to 2 of those cards until the end of your next turn. Really weird that they added the additional limitation of you may only play 2 of those cards.
Yeah, I mean, this is okay in limited if you like really need to dig for something, but if you have things in your hand and you're just not playing them, and then you have them so that you could dig for more, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
It seems good for constructed.
Yeah. So specifically, the way I see it played and constructed is basically as a 1 mana Tormenting Voice. So Tormenting Voice, at first I was like, yeah, you use it with Tormenting Voice to discard a card, draw 2, and then it's like it's instant speed. It costs 1 less.
Oh yeah.
But then I looked at those decks that use Tormenting Voice, and they really value the putting it in your graveyard, not getting exiled.
Oh.
If they don't, they like doing it to lands. This has to be a red spell.
Yeah.
So I'm less and less on it. I think it could still be playable, and it's specifically playable as pay 1, exile a red card not necessary for this battle, get 2 cards, and you're doing that instant speed.
Yeah, maybe if some stuff's stuck in your hand for limited, you can use it. But yeah, I'm not excited about this card.
This is. I feel like this is the worst March because it doesn't feel like an X spell. It feels like a 3 mana spell.
Yeah, true.
Ogre Head Helm. 2 mana 2/2, already good enough. Equipment Ogre. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. And 1 Ogre Head Helm or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. You may sacrifice it. If you do, discard your hand and draw 3 cards.
Oh, interesting.
Reconfigures for 3.
Yeah, this is good. I would play this unlimited for sure.
Yeah. For limited, I say the you may sacrifice. Literally, choosing not to sacrifice is going to be the correct choice, like 4 times out of 5.
Yeah, until you empty your hand, but... Yeah, but the thing is, once you need it, it's there. So.
Yeah. 2 mana 2/2, never sad about that.
And then it buffs your guys, yeah. Good card.
Some people were talking about constructed. I don't see it.
Oh, really?
You need to be you need to be so aggressive, and if you are... Okay, maybe if you can be... Like, it's weird, because you need to dump your hand, but you need to also wipe out their threats so that they can't stop you. So
I think it also lets you sacrifice that dragon, the 4 mana dragon. Makes it a 6/6.
I think you sacrifice the Ogre Head Helm, not the creature.
Wait, whenever Ogre Head Helm or equipped creature, so you could read it as whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. Or whenever Ogre to Helms, deal damage to a creature, you may sacrifice it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because it says, because I would just, you take out the or and just choose one, right? So whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. If you do, discard your hand, draw 3 cards. Yeah. Right?
I feel like that's how you word it. I thought that's how it was as well. The thing is the word the word it is not clear, I guess, is the main issue.
Would you rather say him? What do you mean?
This card. I'd rather say you may sacrifice this card. Or you may sacrifice Ogre head. Or you may sacrifice the creature.
But it is purposely vague, so it could be either, depending on if it's equipped or not.
If it says you may sacrifice the creature, then it works on Ogre head Helm when you sacrifice it. And it works on the creature when it's equipped.
Oh, true. Because then it's whatever creature. Okay. Yeah, creature would have been more clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and that kind of changes its playability. I'm not sure if that changes the playability, though. I think it's still just good, and I don't think that changes its playability, because you're probably equipping it to a 1/1 a lot of the time, so you could sacrifice it. Or like an eye twitch, a 1/1 flyer. Or if you're not doing that, well, actually, no. That actually does change the playability.
I was going to say, once you were done, I was going to be like, it changes it a lot.
Yeah, because, if you have a bunch of 1/1 flyers, you're like a blue-red deck, you could turn every flyer into a new hand.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought it was so good. Maybe that's why other people think it's so good, too.
Yeah. But if you're sacrificing the Helm...
Yeah, that's just like, what? Okay.
It could be good. I'm not...
I mean, it's still good, but it's not just as, like, amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's still... I'd say that makes it playable in Standard, specifically. Alright. Peerless Samurai. 3 mana, 2/3 Menace Samurai. Whenever a Samurai warrior you control attacks alone, the next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast.
That's pretty good. Actually, it's 3 mana. Yeah, that's hella good.
Yeah, 3 mana, 2/3 Menace is like... There were a few cards like this in the last 2 sets that were just like, they made it into your deck. You didn't care about any other abilities. That made it into your deck.
Yeah, this is dope.
The fact is, without any other Samurais or Warrior, this also makes your 5-drop playable on turn 4. This is your main 3-drop for your... You don't even need to be a Samurai deck. This is your main 3-drop for your red deck.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd pick it.
Mm-hmm.
Play a bunch of these.
Rabbit Battery. 1 mana, 1/1. Artifact creature equipment, Rabbit. It has haste. It reconfigures for 1 and gives equipped creature +1/+1 in haste.
This card's good.
This card's considered in constructed. Because, it's a very fast haste enabler.
Like, the Rabbit's okay for the beginning, but yeah, really you want it to equip all the time. And it can, and will.
Yep, and it's so cheap. It's so cheap. Yeah, no, this card could see constructed play. Could make modified decks work.
Yeah.
Reinforced Ronin. 1 mana, 2/2 with haste. It's an artifact creature, human samurai. At the beginning of your end step, you return it to your owner's hand. That's only if it's in play. And then you can pay 2 to channel it, and discarding this to draw a card.
This card's good. I like it.
Yeah. This is one of those cards that I never understand, and then it ends up being 4 of for the main deck of the insane deck that I still don't understand. Hyper aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that its channel is just cycling.
Yeah, its channel is just cycling.
That. So it has cycling, and
cycling with less things that interact with cycling.
I don't know. I would play this in an aggressive limited deck, and it's an artifact card in your graveyard for a bunch of different trigger things. It might just be a good sack outlet if you're trying to find a samurai to attack with alone for something like this. It's pretty good.
Oh my gosh, Jeremiah. It keeps coming back to your hand so you can play it again for the Dragonfire.
Oh, yeah.
That might be part of that deck. I will state that this is one of those cards that I don't think highly of, and then someone turns around and makes it 4 of best deck in constructed, hands down. I never understand how those decks work, but they always do. So, don't take your eye off of this card until it dies the hole after construction's been taken care of for 2 weeks.
I just realized it has a 3rd arm holding the giant. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have more to say?
No. My theme is I don't know how to evaluate those cards. So someone who knows how to build those decks needs to evaluate them. Scrap Welder. 3 mana, 3/3 Goblin Artificer. You can tap and sacrifice an artifact with mana value X to return another artifact with mana value less than X from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's a creature, it gains haste.
Well, it also gains haste if it's not a creature.
I don't think anything that's not a creature cares about haste.
True. Okay. But yeah, this is a. Didn't they make this card before, but it was broken because it was a sacrifice an artifact, bring any other artifact back?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah, so this is just that, but like a little bit worse.
Yeah, it's literally, it now can't break the game entirely, but it's still a good card.
Yeah, this is hella good. And you can sacrifice your artifact creatures before they die or get targeted, so...
Yeah, it doesn't say at sorcery speed.
Yeah, you can pick this in limited. I don't think it's going to do anything super crazy in limited, but could. You could, like, pick around it, yeah.
Yep. Again, this is another one of those cards. These always, if they seem constructed, it's because there's some combo we can't figure out. And once someone figures it out, it all goes haywire. I think we need one more set for that combo to go off, but...
Why?
There might be... there's a set coming out, I think is going to be while this card's in Standard, called the Brothers War. So it's Urza and Mishra, I think. And that's going to be heavy with artifacts. So I'm certain there's going to be something this card can do in that set.
Yeah.
So. Scrapyard Steelbreaker. 4 mana, 3/4 artifact creature, human warrior. Tap 1, sacrifice another artifact. Scrapyard Steelbreaker gets +2/+1 until end of turn.
That's a good card.
I think this does everything your like Samurai Warrior deck wants to do for a top end 4-drop.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, because it has potential to buff if they want to block, and 4 mana 3/4 is pretty big for this format.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you pick this card for sure. You can pick multiple, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, this is you're happy to have this as your 4-drop. Seismic Wave, 3 mana instant. Deals 2 damage to any target and 1 damage to each non-artifact creature target opponent controls. So, it can deal up to 3 damage to that target if it's a non-artifact creature.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I think this is less good than the 2 mana 3 damage card we just saw.
That 1 mana kind of matters. And unless you're killing creatures with that 1 damage to each non-artifact creature, I have to agree.
Yeah, I haven't been convinced that there's going to be swarms of 1/1s or 3/1s or whatever.
Yeah.
It could be relevant, but it's... I mean, okay, so this is a good card, first of all. But just, like, for limited. But just, like, the whole 1 day... I don't know if that's really going to be relevant. It's kind of a 3 mana 3 damage non-artifact. Yeah.
It's like a 2.5 out of 5 instead of a 3 out of 5. You're still playing it. You're still happy to have it. But it's not the same. Like, the... example of the 1/1s that we would love to see are the artifact creature equipments, which this doesn't hit.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, Simeon Selene, 1 mana artifact creature equipment monkey, 1/1. Reconfigures for 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever Simeon Selene or equipped creature becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to the defending player.
That's a good card. It's a good equipment.
Yeah, we just saw 3 different 1 mana equipment, didn't we? No, we saw 2.
Yeah, 2. Just 2.
But we reinforced
but this
Ronin.
was a 1 mana artifact card.
So if you're in red, it's entirely possible to have multiple 1-drops and just like have a really aggressive start, and then because of reconfigure, they're still good in a later game.
Dude, true. You could have a really good reconfigure deck. But yeah, this card's good. You play it. You can play a couple copies. Like, giving a creature +1/+1's good. The second ability doesn't really matter, but I think having a 1-drop and something to ninjutsu, an artifact to sacrifice, it plays a lot of roles.
Yeah, I do think you need to be more aggressive. Like at the slowest, you could be a mid-range deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. As you say, it plays a lot of roles. It does a lot of good stuff. So Zenkin Smelter. 2 mana, 2/2, Goblin Artificer. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact. If you do, you create a 3/1 red construct artifact creature token with haste.
That's awesome. This is a good card.
I think this is almost constructed playable. Like, that...
Really?
If you just have artifacts that have, like, have a trigger, then they're done with. That 1 mana artifact that when it enters the battlefield or leaves, exiles a card. This is a great way to exile it and get extra aggressive value. Like we were talking about the aggressive artifact deck. I think this is part of that. It's a 2 mana 2/2. That's already fine. It's 1 more mana to turn your small creatures into big creatures that lose the reconfigure.
Oh yeah.
Like,
this is a good card.
Yeah. If this, I will say one mistake. I thought said they come in with trample and haste. not having trample is a bit significant, but I don't think it's significant enough to stop it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Meta might need to change because it doesn't have trample, because there's a deck that has a lot of 1/1s that's pretty popular. But
yeah, in limited, if you have some artifacts, you pick one, and it's good.
yeah. Hey, 2 mana 2/2, you're never sad with that.
Yeah.
Tempered and Solitude. 2 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, exile the top card of your library, you may play that card this turn.
Nice.
Note this doesn't have to be a samurai or warrior. This is just a card attacks alone.
And they stack if you have multiple of these. You could pick one of these in limited and be cool, I think. Be good. I don't know. Maybe you'd be pretty good with multiple. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like once you get to a certain point in mana, this literally just becomes when a creature attacks alone, draw a card.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you could probably play 2 of these in a limited deck and they'd be really good, but maybe not more than 2. But yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it's definitely, you don't want to just spend all your time spinning wheels, and like this, you can't treat this as a 2-drop, except like if you don't have a 2-drop. If you don't have a 2-drop, you have other issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might be able to treat it as like a 4-drop in a really aggressive deck. But yeah.
I also just realized with all these reconfigure cards, you can start the game with a board of a bunch of little dudes, and then just once you're ready to do stuff like this, you just combine them all together, reconfigure them together, and then.
Oh my gosh! Now I'm just picturing like, all right, Voltron it up, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone reconfigured.
Dude, reconfigure is perfect for I think it's called cruiser magic, battle cruiser magic. That's what it was called, battle cruiser magic. Where everything just goes on this big minion, and the two big minions charge at each other, basically. Oh my gosh. The more I think about Battlecruiser Magic, the more I'm happy about Reconfigure. Thank you for bringing that to light to me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Alright. Thundering Raiju. 4 mana, 4/4 spirit. 4 mana, 3/3 spirit with haste. When it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, which could be itself. Then it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control, other than Thundering Raiju.
Good. It's a pretty good card.
Yeah, definitely.
Limited, it's huge.
Yeah, limited, it's huge. Constructed, it's just a question of if how this competes with Reckless Stormseeker, which is basically a 3 mana card that also has haste. Just looking at its front side, it gives other creatures +1/+1 in haste. So if you want to be aggressive, this is often all the aggression you need. If this card's seen play, it's because you're getting enough modified creatures. Otherwise, I think Reckless Stormseeker is just better.
Yeah, having a lot of modified creatures seems kind of hard to do in Constructed. So.
Yeah. Like this is going to be one of those that it deals 2 damage when it attacks, and they're at 4 health already, so it's absolutely terrifying. But you need that deck where you're dropping them to like 6 or 4 health when that happens.
Yep. And I feel like this haste is really close to the top.
Yeah, it's like, I think this is the side of, hey guys, too many words in this set. Maybe, like, if you're having trouble fitting all in the box like that.
Yeah.
Which, in case people are wondering, this is the most wordy set of Magic. Didn't it help that channel was something that they couldn't describe. They had to describe it each time.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
they couldn't
like,
put a keyword to it. Well, they did have a keyword to it, but
Yeah. But, like, they also couldn't keyword whenever a samurai or warrior attacks alone.
Yeah, they have a lot of reason, and the sagas have so much text, like lots and lots of text.
So yeah,
Magic is getting textier and textier.
And it was just like they had 3 different mechanics in this format that they could not turn into keywords because of just the way that they were just so like
the channel, the samurai and warrior. What was the other one?
The creature that comes on the back of sagas. They had to write out, exile this card, then return to the battlefield, flipped under its owner's control.
I guess it counts. Yeah, that's a lot of text.
So it didn't help them with that. Alright. Towashi Sunshaper. 2 mana, 2/2, artifact creature, human artificer. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Towashi Sunshaper gets +1/+0 until end of turn.
Pretty good. It's not a warrior though.
Yeah, no, it's not a warrior. It's a 2/2, and there was a card like this called Dawnheart's Disciple that was good, but that was good because it got +1/+1 until end of turn, so they couldn't block it.
Yeah, if you need a lot of artifacts in your limited deck, you can pick it. If you need a 2-drop, you pick it, but it's not amazing.
The reason this card is
DJing, I just realized.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the only DJ. It's like, does it feel like it belongs to this set?
Yeah, are there other DJ cards in all of in all of Magic.
Yeah, this
He's
is
like the only DJ.
I think this is the only. Yeah, this is the most non-magic
That's
card
hella
in Magic.
sick, actually.
Which it's I'm not. Some people I think it's cool, but it's also one of those of like, oh my gosh, they got rid of the magic flavor with this. Like, I don't care. Reference, it's funny.
Most uprisers augment their bodies for speed, strength, and protection, but few just want to be one with the music. That's sick. This is a cool card.
Yeah.
Flavor win.
Yeah.
Design, it's okay.
Yeah. Limited. You basically the reason this is good in limited is because you can get back pick 10 or 11 and you'll play in your deck.
Exactly.
Twin Shot Sniper. 4 mana 2/3 artifact creature Goblin Archer. Reach. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. And it channels, you can discard it to deal 2 damage to any target. So it's basically 2 mana Evoke because it's the same as the ETB effect.
Oh yeah.
This is the only red card with Reach. I think that might just be important enough.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I don't know if you want to play too many of these.
Yes. One of the big problems is that 2 damage has to kill something, or this isn't good.
Yeah, which, I mean, it can. It's possible. I guess, I don't know how to rate this.
Yeah, it's weird, because it's coming out on turn 4.
It's like a bad body and a bad spell, but it's like, the versatility's there, so.
Okay, I will state, 2 mana Shock is not, I don't think that's a bad spell, but it's not a bad spell, because it's 2, you're playing on turn 2 or 3. This is coming out on turn 4, which makes it worse. It's weird. It's definitely challenging to evaluate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. You should pick it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's like if this was a 2/1 but dealt 4 damage, it'd be a lot easier to evaluate. Because it could just be a good removal spell, and then it also has a body sometimes. Or
yeah,
if it had a better body and dealt 1 damage, so...
That's what I'm saying. They're both kind of bad.
Yeah.
Or not good enough, I guess.
Exactly. It's like both sides are not good enough for you to treat it as a burn spell or a creature. And it's both.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, don't have too many. I think that's a good evaluation. Unstoppable Ogre. 3 mana 4/1. Artifact creature Ogre Warrior. When it enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. So you...
I don't know.
It's weird that it's like target creature can't block, and then it doesn't have haste, so it's not actually attacking.
It's one of the you throw it in to die. It's a warrior, so you can attack alone.
It's a warrior.
Yeah, so you can attack alone with it, and it makes something not being able to block, so it goes in the warrior samurai deck. I don't know. You don't really want to pick this though.
Actually, now that you bring it up, you might actually like one of. There's definitely better 3 mana samurai.
If you have like yeah, exactly. If you don't come across the better 3 mana samurai, yeah.
But like this will kill something when it swings in alone.
Yeah, like a 1/1.
Oh right.
No.
Okay, I understand the concerns. All right, we can move on.
I don't know. You could think it's good. I don't know. I don't think it's good.
I think it's better than you think it is, but not by much.
Okay.
It's not as good as I think it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Upright, like 2 out of 5, or maybe 1.8 out of 5.
Yeah, I'll give it a 1 out of 5. Yeah.
Upriser Renegade, 2 mana 1/3 samurai. It gets +2/+0 for each other modified creature you control. I think you kind of just evaluate this as a 2 mana 1/3 first.
I think it could be good and limited because it doesn't seem that hard to have at least one other modified creature, and it's not a spell, so you can like, you don't need the modified creature to be there all the time. Whereas, because that's what I feel like with the instants and sorceries is that, especially like the +2/+, the combat trick one, and the damage one, it's like you kind of need the cards to already be there, and then you play the spell for it to be good. Where this one you can have the card first and then get the modified creatures later, so it's like it makes it a lot better. I think this card's good. For
and
that.
like the second card in red was a 2 mana 1/3 warrior that I said was actually good because that stat line means you could attack and then survive to attack again. Mm-hmm. This is that same card, except its value is later on you get modified creatures and this becomes a threat.
Yeah, like I don't think it's not going to reach like bomb level, but it's a threat because I think this can become like, especially if you're modifying things in your deck anyways, you could easily modify this to 4 toughness and then you're swinging in with like a 5/4. Send you and your brother hugs. Hey, Kratosino.
Yep,
Thanks for the
Kratosino.
hugs.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Every day's been going well.
Yeah, feel the love. I feel the love.
Beautiful. Love has been felt.
That's the most nerdy way to say that. Love has been felt, thank you.
Love levels complete 100%. Voltage Surge, 1 mana instant. As the additional cost, you may sacrifice an artifact. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and if the additional cost is paid, it's 4 damage instead. So this is a shock as a kill spell, and then if you have artifacts that you can sacrifice, it's a proper, like, 4 damage.
This actually is good.
So because 4 damage is, like, a number that has been fought for in Constructed, like, I'm just going to show you Thundering Rebuke.
Yeah.
Thundering Rebuke is now being played in Standard because there's just no other card that does the 4 damage efficiently. So this might just replace Thundering Rebuke in most decks because that this is being played in Standard. Yes.
Oh, and this is a sorcery.
Yeah, this is a sorcery and it costs 1 more mana, and there's treasure tokens floating around.
Yeah.
And it's important because the themes we're killing have haste, and we just take the first hit usually. So I think this might be a Standard player, assuming we have anything to sacrifice.
Yeah.
So yeah, Voltage Surge surprises me. That's the weird thing. In the commons in Red are the most playable cards in Red, it feels like.
Yeah, I like this card in Limited. Sorry, I don't have much to say on it in Standard.
Yeah, no, of course.
I like this card in Limited. You could pick like 2 of these, and maybe more if you don't have any other removals. And it seems like artifacts are going to be around, so you'll have artifacts to sacrifice. So yeah, good card.
Yeah, I would say you can pick 2 of these normally, and then 3 of these if you have artifacts you can sacrifice. Like, it's a good card.
And that's red.
That's red.